Hey y'all, it's Mr. Campbell. It's good to see you. I'm so sorry I can't be there this weekend. I just wanted to take a few minutes and say thank you, first of all, to the leadership team who's put in so much time and energy to make this weekend possible. I know how hard they work. I also want to say thank you to Miss Yancey and Mr. McCaskill, Miss Salisbury, and all the teachers and administration who've put in so much time and energy to make this weekend possible. This weekend is the labor of many people who care very much about you and care about this being a great experience. I know exactly how hard they work and how much they desire for you to leave this weekend changed, different than when you came in. So I hope that you're willing to get out of the comfort zone this weekend, put yourself out there, meet some folks, open up, and truly experience it. So I wanted to spend just 2 to 3 minutes and tell you something about my life and how I've learned a little bit more about leadership this year. St. Augustine said, "Patience is the companion of wisdom." Patience is the companion of wisdom. I think he's got something there. I've learned this year that wisdom, knowing what's right, doing what's right, takes time and it takes patience. To be a leader, you must have patience. To tell you a little bit about where I am, right now I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I teach at a high school, coach soccer, teach AP government, teach U.S. history, teach economics, teach all the same classes pretty much I taught at Webb. I'm down here this year with my wife. She's working for a judge. We knew at the beginning of the year that this was a one-year deal. We might be here longer, but there's a good chance we would be moving out of here after this year. So coming in, I had to make a decision. I first had to make a decision. Am I going to make the most out of this year? Am I going to live like this was my only year potentially in a place and give all of my energy and all of my time and all of my passion towards my students and my soccer team, towards my work and what I love, and make an impact here? Or am I going to live like I have 1 year left and it doesn't really matter what I do? I can just kind of float through and it's not going to matter in the long run. I think we face that a lot. Many of you are going into your senior year. Some of you are finishing your senior year. Even you freshmen and sophomore, you're going to be challenged by this at one point in time. What do you do when you have a limited amount of time in one place and location? Do you give all of your energy? Do you give all of your passion towards something? Or do you let the world around you dictate how your life's going to be? I've really pushed myself this year to try to do everything that I can do in the short time that potentially I was here. So it turns out now that my wife is going to be working in Washington, D.C., and we're going to be moving. Knowing that, it's been tough making the transition, looking for a new job, applying, doing interviews, filling out applications. It's a lot of work, and it does take time to just wait and hear back from schools and try to find the right one. So last week I flew up to Washington, D.C., and I spent 2 days there, and I interviewed with a number of schools, and they went really well. I interviewed with a few schools in the city and a few schools right outside of the city, and mostly public schools, and it was good. And leaving there on Thursday, I got a call on Friday afternoon, and one of the schools just outside of the city called and offered me a position with them. It's a very good school. It would be a great opportunity. I get to do some of the same things I'm doing here and the same things I did at Webb. I had to sit back and wait and ask myself, is this where I want to be? They wanted to know by Monday, this past Monday, whether I wanted to work for them, and they needed to know by 3 p.m. on Monday. So I spent the whole weekend praying and just seeking guidance. I spoke to Coach Monty and talked to him for a little bit this past weekend. I talked to some friends who I'm close with here in North Carolina and Virginia, and just really thought through things. Do I want to go into a school was the question I was asking myself. That's a good school. that has good teachers and good kids, and I'd be put in a place where there's a good culture, and I could be part of that culture? Or did I want to go into a school that may be a good school, but maybe doesn't have the best group of kids? Maybe they struggle a little bit. Maybe they're lower socioeconomic. They have less money. Maybe the school doesn't have as high as test scores. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Maybe the people I work with are going to be a little bit harder to work with, or maybe they'll be great. But I had to ask myself, do I want to be part of a culture, or do I want to be part of making a culture? As a leader, sometimes we have to put ourselves in a tough place. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in a situation where the school may not be perfect, the situation may not be perfect, but we know that if we put our energy and our time and place into it, we can make it a better place for all who are there. So I had to make this decision, and it was tough. It was tough to have a job all lined up, to have your wife know that you have a job, and have to turn down money and turn down a position, turn down a place, because in life, those things matter to some degree. Having a good job, having security, having a good place that you want to go every day and you know is safe. I had to decide what was best, though, and I had to learn that patience may be the best quality I can have right now. So I waited. I called on Monday, and I told the principal that although I was greatly honored to be offered a job, I just didn't feel like it was right. And so here I sit on Friday, and I know you may be listening to this on Saturday, a few days after this, and I feel good. I'm being patient. I'm waiting for the right thing, waiting for a place that I know is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and not just what's easiest. And I encourage you, are you waiting for what's right? Are you settling? I know in my relationship with my wife, I had to get to a point in time where I didn't just want to have a girlfriend, just to have someone to be around. But I got to a moment in college, about a year in, where I dated a few girls, and I had to sit down and say, do I want to just date people to see who's right? Or do I have a pretty good sense of knowing what's right, knowing who's going to be right? And do I want to wait for that right one and not compromise? And I got to that point in time where I said, I'm going to wait. And if it's 2 years, and if it's 2 months, and if it's 2 weeks, great. But I'm going to wait until the right person comes around. I'm not going to date one person until someone who I know is someone that I could pursue in marriage, and I know is the right one, comes along. I had to be patient, to wait. I waited. Thankfully, it only took a few months, but I found the right one. The next girl I dated was the last girl I dated. And I found in my life many times that when I was willing to wait, when I was willing to turn down good things for great things, and I was patient, that those great opportunities came in front of me. So I just challenge you, whether it's club or organization, whether it's college, whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, whether it's the right job, I encourage you to be patient and wait for a place, an opportunity, a person, somewhere where you know you're supposed to be and feel like you can make the greatest impact. I find like the greatest leaders are those that are patient and do the right thing at the right time and don't settle. Leave here, pursue after what you know is right, be extraordinary people, be patient, and be a leader. So that's all I have, and I'm done. Wait, done. Wait, hold on.